Welcome to my Hebrew channel, Miel Hebraica, Hebrew Honey. And today I'm doing a reading in Bereshit 3, and this is the third chapter of Genesis. I'll be reading the chapter through in Hebrew. Before we get to that, I have a few words I want to look at with you, and we'll just go through them briefly, and then we'll get on with the reading of the rest of the chapter. Okay, we're going to take a look at some of the words from the chapter. Hanahas, this is the serpent, the villain of our story. It has an article in the front here, the snake, the serpent. This particular serpent is also identified as Satan, and we find that identification all the way in the New Testament, in the book of Revelation. The Old Testament, it's either one or the other, Hasatan or Hanahas, and this we're starting out with the serpent. That's he's the one that leads the people into temptation and makes them fall into sin. Mikol, this is from or compared. Now the mem right here is a preposition. It can be used mikol, compared to all, or it can be used as a derived from all, okay, from all. So you can go compared to all or from all. And in the first verse of Genesis 3 verse 1, the first time you see this one through, it's a comparative mem, and the last one at the end of the verse, that is, it is a derived mem. It's coming from all. So it's used in both ways in that particular verse. So mikol. Pen, timutun. I've got these included because of the nuns that are at the end here. I consider them emphatic nuns. I've learned over time to watch for these things. You know, at the start you'd see a nun and you're always wondering what in the world it was doing. And now whenever I see a nun at the end of a verb, I'm going, oh yeah, that has to be emphatic. So it used to be kind of wondering what are they doing. Later on, hey, this is what they're doing. Pen timutun, and lest you would die. Mut is to die. And this pen means it's the turning of the face. In other words, lest means, oh, something will turn here, a big turn in history. Yes, and you're going to die. Okay, pen timutun. So when you see it as pen, it's often just kind of as a possibility. Although when God spoke to his people here at this point, it was it was certainty. Now Satan takes that same phrase, okay, timutun, and he bumps it up a little bit. And he goes lo mot timutun. The last part's the very same, okay, timutun, timutun, but this is die, you will die, okay. And he puts a negative on the front of it. No, die, you won't die, okay? No, you won't die, okay? And duplicating it like this makes it emphatic, okay? So he's really trying to convince the Eve that no, you're not going to die. Oh, forget it. That's not going to happen. It's a total lie, as we know. So this is a very emphatic construction right here. Va ochel, this particular verb, when you see the aleph in the front, it's part of the root, okay? Aleph kaf lamet, to eat, okay? To eat, and you can see it with tochal and yochal until you see with other prefixes in the front of it. But when you're in the first person, they don't bother sticking an aleph on the front to indicate first person. They just use the root aleph of the root for the first person. And I ate, okay? I ate of it, okay? This is when Adam does confess to, hey, yeah, I did eat of it, okay? Ochel, and when God is asking him, you know, did you eat of it? But he confesses then, ochel, okay? That's then this aleph, which is part of the root, also works as the first person pronoun of this particular verb. Betok etz, in the middle of the tree. Translators take this tree as a collective word. In other words, they say the trees. In other words, a single tree represents a multitude of trees. But I can also take it as a singular word, the middle of the tree. Why, we're talking about a fig tree, and a fig tree has a very dense cupula of leaves. And so it's quite possible that the Adam and Eve were hiding inside that cupula of leaves, and that those leaves also provide the raw materials for the first clothing they tried to make. And they figured it was a good place to hide. Makes it very symbolic. The same tree that had brought them to their downfall is the place they're trying to hide out. Well, as we know, we cannot hide from the Lord, and the Lord most certainly knows where to find his people when he wants to have a chat with us. Tipakahena, and this is the root here is pe kof chet. That means to open. Okay, it's a prefixed form of the verb, and the ending here is feminine plural. Okay, feminine plural. They were open. They were opened, and this means the eyes of the husband and wife, Adam and Eve. Their eyes were open. They could see that they were naked. So the ending right here, nah, like that, you don't see it a whole lot in the scriptures. You do see it first chapter of Ruth, when you have Ruth, Naomi, and Orpah talking to each other. Then this particular root does get used quite a bit in the very first chapter of Ruth. Other than that, you don't see it a lot in the scriptures. So it is a little bit of a different verb form here. So that's why I've included it in listing here. Memenu, this is from it and from it. So this is the same derived mem as that one, mikol. And this one does look kind of a plural, but no, it's a singular, derived from it. Mit halech. The halech is a well-known verb. Hey lamed kaf, to walk, to walk along. And mit is a reflexive, causative, reflexive participle. In other words, the Lord was walking by himself in the garden. Okay, so it's a very, very unique way of saying it. This is one of the exotic forms of the verbs. When I'm teaching verbs, you start with the very simple forms, and then you start with a little bit more complicated. This is about as complicated as it gets for verbs, verb formation. In fact, the entire mem tau and this yod tau, this is all prefix. Most prefixes in the Hebrew, like here and here, are just single letters. But here, the prefix has actually a doubled set. In other words, two consonants form the prefix here, which makes it among prefixes for verbs. It makes it unique. Mit halech, to be walking, and yit habe, to be hiding, and he hid himself. Okay, but yit habe, and he hid himself. Okay? So this one has a conjunction as well, but this is he was hiding himself and he was walking. And again, this is a participle form also, something that he was doing with constant action. He is an interesting word here, and I'm pointing this out because in the first 5 books of Scripture, the section known as Torah, when you have a feminine pronoun, third person singular feminine pronoun, she, in English it's she, in Hebrew you say he, which it's kind of an interesting way to just flip the word back and forth in your head. He is a she, okay, so he is a she. Now the vav right here normally would take a O sound or a U sound. That is a holomor surik, okay? But when we're talking about a female personage, it has to be with a hirik, this little dot right here on the right here. And this would be kativ kareh. In other words, the written one is Hey Vav Aleph, which would look like a masculine pronoun, but the Masoret said, no, if you, from the context of what we're reading, we know this is a feminine pronoun. We're putting a hirik in here, and you have to read this as he, even though it looks like Hugh, okay? Even though it looks like Hugh, it has to be read as he. In other words, here, most certainly the hirik, that is the mashra, is a great help in determining the gender of this particular pronoun. If you do see it with a surik or a surik, then it's as he, masculine, okay? Hugh is masculine, he is feminine. So there's just a few of the words that I wanted to cover before moving into the rest of the reading. Ve'hanahas haya harum mikol hayat hashadeh asher asa Yahweh Elohim. Vayomer el ha'isha af ki amar Elohim lo tochalu mikol etz hagan ותאמר האישה אל הנחש, מפרי עץ הגן נאכל, ומפרי העץ אשר בתוך הגן, אמר אלוהים לא תאכלו ממנו ולא תגעו בו פן תמותון. ויאמר הנחש אל האישה, לא מות תמותון. כי יודע אלוהים כי ביום אכולכם ממנו נפקחו עיניכם והייתם כאלוהים יודע טוב ורע. ותראה האישה כי טוב העץ למאכל, וכי תאווה הוא לעיניים, ונחמד העץ להשכיל, ותיקח מפירו ותאכל, ותיתן גם לאישה עמה ויאכל. ותפקחנה עיני שניהם וידעו כי ערומים ויתפרו אלי תאנה וירשו לכם הגורות. וישמעו את קול יהוה אלוהים מתהלך בגן לרוח היום, ויתהווה האדם ואשתו מפני יהוה אלוהים בתוך עץ הגן. ויקרא יהוה אלוהים על האדם ויאמר לו, אחייך. ויאמר את קולך שמעתי בגן, וארא כי ערום אנוכי ואחבא. ויאמר מי הגיד לך כי ערום אתה מן העץ אשר שיבעתיך לבלתי אכל ממנו אכלת? ויאמר האדם האישה אשר נתת עמדי, היא נתנה לי מן העץ ואוכל. ויאמר יהוה אלוהים לאישה, מה זאת עשית? ותאמר האישה, הנחש השיאני ואוכל. ויאמר יהוה אלוהים אל הנחש, כי עשית זאת, ערום אתה מכל הבהמה ומכל חיית השדה, על גחונך תלך ועפר תאכל כל ימי חייתך. ואבא אשית בעיניך ובין האישה ובין זרעך ובין זרעך הוא ישפוך ראש, ואתה תשופנו עקב. אל האישה אמר, הרבה ארבך אצבעונך והרונך בעצב תלדי בנים ועל אישך תצוקתך והוא ימשל בה. ולאדם אמר, כי שמעת לקול אשתך ואוכל מן העץ אשר שיבעתיך לאמור, לא תאכל ממנו ארורה האדמה בעבורך בעצבון תאכלנה כל ימים חייך. והקוץ ודרדר תצמיח לך ואכלת את עשב השדה. בזיעת אפיך תאכל לחם עד שובך על האדמה, כי ממנה לוקחת, כי עפר אתה ואל עפר תשוב. ויקרא האדם שם אשתו חווה, כי היא הייתה אם כל חי. ויעש יהוה אלוהים לאדם ולאשתו כותנות עור וילבשם. ויאמר יהוה אלוהים, כן האדם חי כאחד ממנו לדעת טוב ורע, ועתה פן ישלח ידו ולקח גם מעץ החיים ואכל וחי לעולם. וישלחהו יהוה אלוהים מגן עדן לעבוד את האדמה אשר לוקח משם. ויגרש את האדם וישכן מקדם לגן עדן את הקרובים ואת לחת החרב בתוך עץ לשומר את דרך עץ החיים.